Today on Inquirer. Amid the hot weather, DepEd says there are no plans to move back the students' summer vacation to April to May. Sunken oil tanker in Oriental Mindoro now half empty, according to the Philippine Coast Guard. Solicitor General Guevarra says Philippines' appeal to the International Criminal Court to stop its investigation on the drug war is still pending. Guevarra to send a memo to President Bongbong Marcos to clarify the appeal's status. And Senator Francis Tolentino to stand as legal counsel for Senator Dela Rosa in the ICC probe on the drug war. Good evening. The Department of Education has no plans to move the school's summer break back to April and May amid the hot weather. DepEd spokesperson Michael Poa says school heads have the discretion to suspend in-person classes and use alternative delivery modes of blended learning if the environment is not conducive to learning. Senate Basic Education Committee Chairman Sherwin Gatchalian earlier suggested to bring back the April-May summer break following reports that students were hospitalized during a surprise fire drill in a school in Laguna. Some students reportedly passed out due to hunger and dehydration and suffered tiredness aggravated by the hot weather. Senator Francis Tolentino will stand as legal counsel for fellow lawmaker Ronald Bato de la Rosa in the probe of the International Criminal Court into the bloody war on drugs during former President Rodrigo Duterte's administration. Duterte and De La Rosa, who was the former's first national police chief, are accused of crimes against humanity for the supposed state-sponsored extrajudicial killings in relation to the drug war.
I accept the letter of the proposal of Senator De La Rosa to lawyer for him. My role then would be to ensure the protection of Senator De La Rosa, not just within the confines of the ICC, because we're claiming that they don't have jurisdiction, but even locally.
The senator also says he is inclined to conduct hearings on Senate Resolution number 488, which urges the upper chamber to come to the defense of Duterte amid the ICC drug war investigation. He is eyeing to bring representatives of the ICC as resource persons.
I'm thinking of having a resource person coming from the ICC itself.
Oh.
Kung papayag sila, kahit Zoom sila.
Mm-hmm.
Para ipaliwanag nila yung hinihingi nila. But I would want to have the Mr. Khan explain the reason why they insisted that the pleading filed by the Office of the Solicitor General was not complete, was not conclusive enough.
Meanwhile, Solicitor General Guevarra says he will explain to President Bongbong Marcos the status of the Philippine government's appeal to the International Criminal Court to ultimately stop its investigation on the drug war killings. Guevarra says he is sending a memo to the president to clarify that the government's appeal has not been dismissed nor denied. He explains that what the ICC recently denied was the Philippine government's request not to proceed with the ICC's investigation while the appeal is pending. The Solicitor General also says the ICC is not following its own principle of complementarity, meaning it will only work as a support to the member states' system. He argues that the Philippines is already investigating the killings during the anti-drug campaign and does not need for the ICC to interfere. Guevarra served as the Justice Secretary during the height of the drug war under the Duterte administration. Next on Inquirer Today. Sunken oil tanker in Oriental Mindoro now half empty, according to the Philippine Coast Guard. ACT Representative Castro says it is the Department of Education that's diverting the conversation from education issues. And Department of Foreign Affairs says 81 Filipinos are on death row abroad. This is Inquirer Today. We'll be back shortly.
1, 2, 3.
A giant camera?
I'm Jovel Lorenzo. I'm a professional photographer. I'm 52 years old. Gumagamit ako ng street box camera. Nagkasayaw ako. Hot legs ako before. Tapos, dumami ng mga shows namin. Tapos, one time, sa sobrang hilig ko sa sayaw talaga, nagkasakit ako. Nagka-mild stroke ako.
In order for Jovel to recover, he was prohibited from dancing for a year until a new opportunity presented itself.
Buti lang, medyo bata-bata pa ako noong time na yun. So, nakarecover naman ako. Pero nung na-stroke ako, hindi ako pwede magsayaw ng 1 year. So, pinag-aral ako ng isang kapatid ko na sabi ko, Jubel, may nagkaklase ng photography sa Mobile Fund. Sumasama ako dun sa Hot Legs pare, pero hindi ako nagsasayaw, nanonood lang ako ng shows nila. Habang nanonood ako shows nila, practice ako ng photography. Sinushoot ko sila, yung mga guests nila, sinushoot ko. Tapos yun ang pambayad ko ng film. Yun ang ginagawa ko para matuto ako ma-practice ko yung photography ko. Yun, tapos tuloy-tuloy na yun. Hanggang sa naging magazine photographer na ako, nagkasayaw pa rin, tapos magazine. Tapos hanggang sa nawala na yung sayaw, nagmamagazine na talaga. Naging photographer na ako full-time. Until now, nag-shoot pa rin ako sa magazine hanggang ngayon.
When the pandemic hit in 2020, Jovel got into box cameras.
Ngayon ko lang nalaman yung street box camera, kung paano siya gamitin. So nakita ko lang siya sa website or sa YouTube. Habang nanonood ako, nakita ko lang siya. So parang na-interesado ako kung paano nila ginagawa. Parang, maganda. Parang maganda yung process kung paano nila ginagawa yung image. During that time, pandemic naman, yung time na yun. So, wala kang ginagawa. Try akong gumawa ng camera nang nakita ko sa net. So, parang, okay to parang bago. Kasi hindi ko pa ginagawa. Unti-unti ko siya nagawa. Nagawa ko yung box with all of the yung mga component niya, yung basa-basa. Inartehan ko pa, ilalabas ko yung picture sa gilid para mas para ganun. Parang inisip ko na yung ginawa ko doon, inisip ko na pwedeng i-offer pag nawala na yung pandemic. Pwede ko i-offer sa tao para may trabaho pa ako.
Jovel went to Batangas during the height of the pandemic and thought of a way to practice using his box camera. He started to work on his project called the 14-Day Quarantine Series, where he would take portraits of people in their everyday lives using his box camera. The street box camera was invented in 1888 and was widely used after the First World War. Compared to digital cameras we use nowadays, the process of taking a photo on a street box camera is quite different.
Kuha ng box, diba? Box. Ginagawa ko una, yung sitters, paupuin ko ng komportable, kailangan komportable sila. Kasi hindi sila gagalaw ng ilang seconds eh. Kasi pag nagbago sila ng pwesto, wala ka na. Hindi naman sila makukuha ng maayos. Hindi, pag nakaupo na sila komportable, pupunta na ako sa likod ng camera. Ayusin ko na yung frame. I-focus mo na. Pag lock mo ganon, isasara ko na yung pinto, i-close ko na yung lente, kasi nga, open pa ako nun. Tapos, ipapasok ko na yung kamay ko sa loob, kuha ko ng papel, ilagay ko sa loob, isasara ko, babalik ko sa focus. Tapos, pupunta ko sa unahan, eto na, kukuha na kita. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 1001. Pak. Kuha na yun siya.
Minutes after taking a photo, you will be able to see what it looks like. The initial output is a negative photo processed with chemicals right inside the camera. The negative is then brought to a dark room for Jovel to develop into a positive image.
Nagusto naman ng mga tao. Gusto nila yung dati parang hindi na alam kung paano nga kung ginagawa yung mga bagay-bagay. Doon sila na nababother ko paano po ginawa. Kasi nga ang film, disiplina talaga yon. Pagka nag-shoot ka, kailangan perfect na talaga yung framing mo. Kailangan eksakto na, eksakto sa requirements ng gagamit. Kailangan ang pag-aaral lang sa mga bata na gustong yung ginagawa ko. Pag-aaralan nila unti-unti Huwag sila jump na. Babasahin mo rin yung paggalaw ng tao, parang gano'n. Kung anong ngiti nila, kung saan sila maganda, parang gano'n. Titingnan mo pa rin. Kung saan sila maganda, doon po sila bibitigan. Ang discipline nga ginagawa ko sa akin sarili, isa camera pa lang, i-perfect mo na.
The Philippine Coast Guard reports that the submerged oil tanker in Oriental Mindoro, which caused a massive oil spill, is estimated to have already released around half of the fuel it contained. According to Philippine Coast Guard spokesperson Armand Balilo, the tanker now only contains around 300 to 400,000 liters of the 800,000 liters of industrial fuel. Balilo says the Philippine Coast Guard is bolstering its efforts to retrieve the remaining fuel in the tanker. He adds that one of its options is to use a remotely operated underwater vehicle to get rid of the oil in the remaining tankers. As of March 28, the Philippine Coast Guard says it has collected a total of 10,363 liters of oily water and 131 sacks of oil-contaminated material in its offshore operations. In the meantime, Alliance of Concerned Teachers representative Castro claims that it is not them, but the Department of Education under Vice President Sara Duterte that has been diverting the people from discussing legitimate education issues. Castro says DepEd red tags progressive groups instead of fixing long-standing problems. The lawmaker also says their long-standing push for DepEd to hire new teachers is justified. She observed that the previous two administrations had come close to these targets. Castro's statement is in response to Duterte's claim that hiring 30,000 teachers yearly is impossible. Duterte also said that act is only trying to divert attention from the New People's Army attacks in Masbate province, which has affected students in the said area. Meanwhile, the Department of Foreign Affairs reports that 81 Filipinos are on death row overseas and vowed to do all it can to avert the execution of their sentence. The DFA says they continue to work hard and exhaust all diplomatic channels available to ensure that no death penalty sentence is executed against Filipinos abroad. According to the agency, one of its important interventions regarding Filipinos on death row abroad includes the rescinding of a death sentence meted on 2 Filipinos in Saudi Arabia for having an illicit affair. The DFA notes that in 2022, their death penalty sentence was reduced to 9-year imprisonment. It likewise reported securing acquittals for 135 overseas Filipinos facing various charges abroad. The agency also notes that through the Legal Assistance Fund, 354 convicted Filipinos overseas from 2018 to 2022 have been pardoned. Alamin naman natin ang mainit na balita sa mundo ng showbiz kasama si Irvin Santiago ng Bandera. Irvin?
Hi Daniza at sa lahat ng mga kabandera natin all over the universe. Ito na nga ang latest Bandera Chika. Palaging nai-issue ang actress at celebrity mom na si Raisa Senon pagdating sa issue ng loyalty kahit na ilang taon na siyang nagpaalam at umalis sa bakuran ng GMA7. Mula noong lumipat sa ABS-CBN ay hindi na tinantana ng mga bashers at haters at patuloy na ikinakabit sa pangalan ni Raisa ang salitang walang utang na loob at questionable ang loyalty. Depensa ni Raisa, maayos siyang nagpaalam noon sa GMA7 bago lumipat sa Kapamilya Network. Kaya wala naman daw talagang issue at hanggang ngayon ay tumatanaw pa rin siya ng utang na loob sa dati niyang mother network. Ipinagdiinan niya na kung saan may trabaho at kung saan kailangan ng kanyang serbisyo ay doon siya, lalo na ngayong isa na siyang working mom. Samantala, todo naman ang pasasalamat ni Raisa sa Viva Entertainment dahil hindi siya iniwan at pinabayaan noong kasagsagan ng mga issue sa kanya.
Ang mga artista, same lang yan ng mga nagtatrabaho po na may trabaho, di ba? Hindi porket lumipat ka ng ibang istasyon, wala ka ng loyalty. Siyempre, meron din kaming pangangailangan, may binabayaran kaming bills, ganyan. So kung saan po may trabaho, doon din kami. Kumbaga, kung saan may offer, doon din kami lilipat. Pero, hindi ibig sabihin nun, bigla ka na lang aalis. Siyempre, magpapaalam ka ng maayos. So yung time na lumipat po ako, nagpaalam ako ng maayos.
At yan ang Bandera Chika natin today. Thanks, Danisa!
Maraming salamat, Irvin. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Deniza Fernandez. Catch Inquirer Today live weekdays at 6 p.m. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net.